You are afraid of judgment. And I'm not judging you because I am too, kind of. So today we're just going to talk to Jay about this BS so we can get a handle on it, because we don't need to be judging and we don't need to feel judgment. And let's just get rid of judgment if we can. So, Jay, can you please talk to us, explain what I mean by judgment exactly?
Sure. Although I love how I'm always explaining what you mean by something. Like,
Yeah,
come
because
on,
you're
man.
much better at it than me. Okay, what do people in general mean by judgment? Not just me. When we say what judgment is, and before you even continue, let's give a shout out to this awesome background that you've got going on in episode 95 of our podcast. You look so nice.
Thanks to Lynn Padetti for this beautiful studio.
Thanks, Lynn. We love you. Okay. So please, can you explain to us what judgment is, what maybe it isn't?
Right. So it depends on how far you want to take it, because you could say that judgment is just comparing something to something else. As soon as you're comparing something to something else, you're making judgments about each. But if we call that judgment, then we can't even call things red versus yellow, or, big versus small, because now we're comparing them and now we're judging them. And so it would be kind of tough to live life if we removed all comparison in existence.
Okay, that's a really good point. Yeah, I mean, I haven't thought of it that way, but yeah, you're right.
So I tried to label healthy comparison as discernment. Like, I can discern a small item from a big item, and I can discern red from yellow. But judgment is more of an unhealthy comparison, right? So I feel like when most people say don't judge or eliminate judgment or things of that nature, what they really mean is eliminate unhealthy comparison, harmful comparison that is unloving or fails to serve. But they don't want to eliminate discernment, which is healthy judgment, healthy comparison, like I can tell red from yellow.
Fair play. Okay. So the unhealthy discernment, this is
unhealthy comparison.
The unhealthy comparison, the comparison that makes us feel really bad about ourselves when we're judging others, but we're judging ourselves at the same time.
Yeah, and some people get a dopamine rush from judging others, so they actually feel good when they do it, but then it makes other people feel bad. So it's still an unhealthy kind of judgment.
Well, and don't you also think if you're putting out that kind of judgment on others, even if you feel good about it, that's still like low vibe, and you're attracting more like not nice things to yourself that way.
Yeah, probably. I mean, but I don't consider it low vibe. Like, I don't want to label it. I don't want to judge it because it exists.
Come on, man.
What? Do we want to judge judgment?
No, I don't want to judge judgment. That's okay. Fair enough.
Right. So if someone's way down in the dumps, like suicidally depressed, if they start judging others, judging the government and judging the world and judging their family, like, that might be good. They might be more fired up and more alive than ever. And it could be like the best thing for them. Like, dude, way to get out of that suicidal depression. At least you're fired up. Like, I don't want you to stay there judging people, but I'm not going to judge your judgment.
Fair play. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. You don't want to judge the judgment. All right. Well, so unhealthy judginess is what makes us or someone else feel bad.
Yeah. Unhealthy comparison is what I call judgment. And I think that's what most people mean when they're talking about judgment. And healthy comparison is discernment. And we kind of need it to navigate 3D reality. Like, it's tough to move through the world if you don't have any discernment. So healthy comparison, discernment; unhealthy comparison, judgment.
Fair play. Okay. I got you. All right. So we recently had someone close to us who asked us or suggested that we distance ourselves from something in our past that they thought that it might not be a great thing. And it was kind of like, it wasn't about us. It was about how they felt about the topic or whatever, right? They were afraid of being judged for, I don't know, being involved with us or knowing us or whatever. So why do you think that people care so much in that way? Like, so I guess I should give a little more context to the audience. So recently you were booked for a show there in Australia, and the host canceled the show because she didn't like your past as the Bimbo Whisperer, which was when we worked with OnlyFans models. And this had nothing to do with her. You guys weren't going to talk about that. You weren't bringing that kind of stuff onto her podcast. So why would someone care so much about the judgment they would receive from something that the audience may or may not find out about you?
Yeah, great question. And this happens all the time. It's super common. And just like any form of judgment, it is harmful. So she lost out on an incredible guest and maybe one of the best conversations she's ever going to have in her life. And she may have issues with sexuality and sexual repression, and she might have issues discussing controversial topics. But for a radio host to have these issues, it's going to hurt her career for sure. Like, she's not just going to miss it on me as a guest. She's going to miss it on every other guest that has anything to do with this topic. And so then her show might stay small, or other bad things can happen. Karma comes around. Like, when you judge harshly like this, and you're so concerned about image and optics and reputation and public backlash, it's not happening in a vacuum, right? There are results and consequences of that. And if you think you can throw that kind of judgment around and be that scared of judgment from others without consequences, you're dreaming. Like, just show me anyone who engages in that kind of judgment, and I will show you guaranteed negative results coming from that. But the reason people do it is because of fear. They spend their lives judging other people. And so when they go to do something a bit bold or outside their comfort zone, they're automatically fearing everyone else judging them.
Right.
Right. We fear what we do to others. If you lie all the time, you're always fearing someone else is going to lie to you. If you steal all the time, you're always fearing someone else is going to steal from you. True. And if you judge all the time, you are fearing other people judging you back.
Right.
But because I don't judge, or I aim not to, I don't really fear judgment. Like, I'm happy to say my piece. I'm happy to do my thing. I'm happy to live my authentic truth. And I don't worry about judgment or public backlash or all these things, right? I don't have that weighing on me because I don't do that. And so I don't expect other people to do it. And if they do it, it's like, whatever, that's their prerogative. Like, I don't steal. And so I don't fear other people stealing from me all the time. Like, I just don't walk around the world worried about that. And if someone does rob me, like, okay, that's their thing, I guess. Like,
okay. Well, that's really helpful. And I agree. Like, her weird judgment thing is going to affect her later in the future, and probably already now. I mean, why wouldn't you want to have someone amazing like this on your show? I mean, come on. But it's okay, because I booked you for another podcast for the end of the month because I felt like it. And it annoyed me that somebody would dare not want you on their podcast, because you're incredible and amazing. To me, it wasn't even about the judgment part of it. And that actually situation is what made us do this episode, because everything boils down to judgment, right? Everything everybody does. We did an episode on fear and love. Like, everything is fear and love, but it's all fear. It's all fear of judgment, basically. Right. And so, yeah. I feel like most of us walk around in fear of judgment from everyone, the slightest, smallest things. And just like you said, like, there's one of the people that live with me currently, she is very judgmental towards others. And it shows that she's always, like, that's the first thing that she's concerned about, being judged. So just like you said, it makes total sense to me. So, because what we put out, we get back. So, but how come I never considered it judgment? I never said to myself, the reason I don't want to do this or that is because I'm afraid of what other people think of me. Even recently, I tweeted the photos of you, and you commented back on the photo. It was just you were like, yay, thanks for your support. And I was like, you didn't like reply like I'm your wife, and you were like, ask me all these questions, like, do you think I give a crap about social media, basically? And I was like, no. And you're like, so why would I care about, like, and then you're like, but did I make you feel like a wife 5 minutes ago and just now? And like, you had these examples that you had just done too, like 2 seconds before I said it. And I was like, Yeah. And the thing that I didn't share with you was it was more about what are other people going to think when they see your comment. They see that I posted this lovely thing and I can't wait for you to get back. And your comment was like, yay, thanks for your support. And to me, it was more like, I always feel like your wife because you always make me feel like that. You know, like that's the relationship we have. But my thought was, what happens when someone else comes along and they're going to be like, see this and be like, oh, that's why he's in Australia. They're not really together. They're having problems. And that was more on my mind than you didn't say things that make me feel like your wife.
Was that a question?
No, it's a comment on what happened. And I thought you were going to have something to say about it. But if you don't have something to say about it, then I guess my question is, why am I still doing that after so long when I really genuinely don't care what most people think?
Wrong. You do care.
But I think that I care more than I admit or that I realize.
Yeah, well, that's obvious by your behavior.
Okay. Are you talking about my behavior with the tweet or just in general? Yeah. Okay.
Well, I don't know. Pick an example. I'm sure there's more.
Well, I can't think of any off the top of my head. The reason why the tweet thing was on my mind was because I didn't really say that to you. And so I wanted to bring it up on the podcast because I was like, well, I should have admitted that the real secret reason I even said anything was because I cared more about what other people thought when they saw the post.
Sure. But most people are doing this. Like I'm probably doing it without even knowing it. Like if you look at most people's behavior and why they do things, they'll never tell you the truth, the deep secret truth. But the deep secret truth is usually they're afraid of judgment. Why did you spend that much money? Or why did you save that much money? Or why did you avoid buying that thing? The real answer, probably they were afraid of being judged. Why do you keep your fetishes secret? Or why are you not doing the things sexually that you want to? Or why are you not sharing your fantasies with others or whatever? Because it's not appropriate and, I don't want to do that and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, wrong. You're afraid of judgment. Like, why do you doom scroll in secret and when someone comes by, you like shut the monitor off and switch to something else and do some other work? Oh, because you want to look busy and because you're afraid of being judged for leisure time or afraid of being judged for doom scrolling or whatever. Like you can't just own the doom scrolling. Like watch people's behavior. They can't own anything they're doing. They can't own their eating habits or their dietary habits. They can't own their masturbation habits. They can't own their sleep habits. They always pretend they're sleeping longer or shorter than they should be or are or want to or whatever. They're always trying to look like something, right? They always want to portray some image to other people. And why do they want to portray the image to other people of being a busy person or being a hard worker or being a healthy sleeper or being whatever, right? They do it because they're afraid of the judgment of others. When they were toddlers, they didn't care. They just ran around and like pooed and peed on the floor. Like they didn't care. They just did whatever they wanted. They would play for 24 hours a day if they wanted to. Like, I don't care. I love this video game. I'm going to play. Like there was no fear of judgment then, but you definitely got it now. And it's running all your behavior, like 90% of your behavior. You said I can't come up with something else that I'm concerned about judgment, but you've only been using one hand on the screen this whole episode.
Well, it's so mean. You're so right. You're right. I am.
Why not just own it? Like, why not just own it? Just look, this is how my day went. This is how my life went. And you know what? I want to use my hands and I want to talk with gestures and I want to show off and I want to be my normal person. And I'm tired of like trying to show an image like this. Like I just have the perfect nails when I only have one hand done. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. You're totally right. When before we started, it was what I said that when you see me only using one hand, there's a reason. As I didn't get the chance to finish the other one or do the other one. And you're right, 100%. It was more about what are people going to say or think because how dare I come online and or how dare I film content when I'm not all the way done.
But who cares? Like, who cares what they think? Who cares what they say? And by you being yourself, you give them permission to show up unperfect as well. Like, if everyone shows up perfect all the time, then the social pressure is no one is allowed to show up unperfect, and you are pressuring everybody into that, and they don't feel like they have permission to show up imperfectly. But if you just be yourself and show off your one hand of nails, then other people will feel like, you know what, that's okay too. If something's not quite right with my makeup, maybe I can show up as well. So like judgment affects everything. And I'm not saying don't put on a good aesthetic or don't do your best or don't beautify yourself or show up well. I'm just saying if you want to move your hands while talking and judgment is preventing you from doing that, then maybe change, like step up and do it.
Well, it just takes practice then. Yeah. Practice like being comfortable with like showing who I am. I took a quiz today and like they ask you the same freaking questions over and over, right? And one of the questions was like, do you like attention? Do you like care about like people paying attention to you? And I'm like, I love that. I love that. I love like over and over, but there's nuance to that because do I want attention when I'm really sad and depressed and I'm leaving my house? Like the poor celebrities when they leave and they like look a mess and they don't want to be looked at, but they want attention. They're celebrities. They love it, but maybe not in the moment when they're feeling really bad. Maybe I don't want it. So I put myself out here onto the podcast, but I still pick and choose what I share. You know, we don't do Big Brother with the cameras everywhere so everyone can see everything that I want to do, though I am dying to do that with you so bad one day because you guys have no idea the juicy gold that I get constantly just by walking around the house next to this man. So one day.
Sure, but we're not ready if we're still curating one hand of nails.
There you go. That's the thing. Yeah. So, well, that's what we're here for, right? One of the reasons also I wanted to do this episode, the intro is to help for you to help me get past this crap, right? Because I know I'm fully aware that I have issues with this. I'm fully aware that I'm not past it. Have I grown from 5 years ago? Oh my God, yes. Do I judge less? Yes, big time. Do I still have problems judging? Yes, I do. Totally. But I have improved so much and there's more to improve. So that's really another reason why I wanted to do this episode, because I think that the more we judge, all of us, me included, the smaller our lives start to get.
Yep.
Because we start to live smaller because we're more afraid. We're afraid of, I'm afraid what the neighbors are going to think. So I'm not going to go outside when they're out there, or I'm afraid of the other neighbors think and they come home at different times. So now, I got to stay home and I'm only going out when everyone's asleep, you know, like, so I know that's kind of an extreme example, but it still works because your world starts to get smaller and smaller and smaller. The more people. And so like if I really cared about the nails, like really like it was a thing for me, then I would be limiting myself. I would share what I share with you guys, not just the nails themselves, but if I'm holding back something small, like my nails, what else am I going to hold back from you on the podcast? My vulnerabilities, my fears, the judgment, the jealousies, whatever. It just starts to lead to a smaller life. So Jay, we don't want to live a small life. And yes, I know practice is the answer because I already know. We all know practice is the answer. Can you give us some tips on how it can be easier to practice or some things you do maybe because you're like the least judgmental person I have ever met in my entire life, ever. And it's so beautiful to see. And when you do judge, you're usually joking about it and you laugh about it and you're like, I'm kidding and whatever. So yeah, can you please help us?
Yeah, great question. The first thing to do is to catch yourself when you're being judgy. Because if you're unaware of it and you can't catch it and you don't see it happening, good luck trying to improve anything. You might as well be blind.
Yeah.
Like you might as well have no senses at all because you are not sensing when you're judgy. So I put in a lot of practice with this, but the first thing I did was to start catching myself when I was being judgy. And the catching yourself when being judgy is a skill already, and it takes practice already. And so there's almost no point in trying to change or adjust your judgment until you've gotten good at this skill. This is kind of like the foundational skill.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Awareness of your judgment level on different topics.
Right. So then that's going to require some self-reflection and some massive honesty with yourself. Yep. And sometimes that feels bad, but girl, we got to do it. So
yeah, I mean, Just like anything in life, if you want to get good at it and improve it, it's going to be outside your comfort zone and it's going to feel like effort at first. It won't feel like super easy and super fun and, oh, this is amazing. If I want to lose weight or get fit or build muscle, 100% guaranteed I'm going to have to feel uncomfortable at first.
Yeah, that's true.
If getting fit felt super fun and easy, all 8 billion people on the planet would be fit right now.
Yeah.
Same goes for tough conversations with the spouse. Like, if you want to have that tough conversation with the spouse on that sensitive topic or whatever, it's not going to feel super fun and easy. It's going to be outside your comfort zone and you're going to have to give it a shot. And when you get through it, you'll be proud. But at the beginning, it's not going to feel super great. It's going to feel like effort.
Yeah.
Right. If you want to change your diet and you're habitually used to carbs and sugars, it's not going to feel super fun and super easy when you first make that change. It's going to feel like effort.
It feels hard when because you haven't done it for so long.
Yeah, it's just super basic. If you want changes in your life and your results, you have to change your behavior. And to change your behavior away from what you're familiar with never feels comfortable. I'm already familiar with behavior X. It's going to feel uncomfortable to switch to behavior Y. And so I'm already familiar acting like judgment is fine and it's great to judge everyone and I don't need to catch myself and I don't need to be aware. Well, that's behavior X. Guess what? If you want to change that, it's going to take effort and put you outside your comfort zone. And so to catch yourself being judgy and to be honest about it and to admit it is going to feel like effort and discomfort. Like all good things in life. Like I can't even believe this is discussed by people. Like, why doesn't everyone just admit if I want something good, it's going to feel like effort in the beginning?
Because it feels too hard and they don't know how.
I'm a full-grown human and this is so hard. Yeah, whatever, man. Everyone changes their diet. Everyone changes their exercise. Everyone changes their relationships. Everyone does this stuff. They just get past the hump of effort. Like they stop whining and go do it and you don't. And that will be the only difference forever. Like everyone you look up to has already done this hump of effort and you haven't. So like quit whining and do it.
Well, I think that's the key to all of it, right? Is that there are people who do the efforting thing and those that don't. I think you could insert that into probably every single topic.
Yep. Anything you want changes and results from, any topic or area you want changes and results in, if you haven't been getting them already, it's probably going to feel like a bit of effort and getting outside your comfort zone at the beginning.
Okay,
but simple, like meditation, if you haven't been meditating a lot, sitting still for 5 minutes is going to feel actually hard and uncomfortable and difficult and like effort. And you're going to go complain to your friend, I tried to meditate, man, but it's freaking hard. It was like way too hard. I just couldn't sit still. It's like, all right, well, I guess you'll never meditate then, sir. Like,
yeah, it's true. Well, I think because that's a feeling, right? This is feeling we get. And so we can do things to practice and catch ourselves. But I don't know, like for me, right, to change a feeling, it's a bit harder, right? And so I can do the thing, but still feel the feeling. So for example, like my mother hates my makeup, right? She hates when I wear this makeup. She always has to say something about my makeup. And so if I cared about the judgment, I would tone it down while I'm around her and or try to hide from her or whatever. But instead, I wear the makeup I want. When she says something, I say, I'm kind and I blow it off and whatever. And I leave the area, right? But when I leave the area, I still feel the feeling inside of, I don't want her to be upset with me or annoyed with me or whatever with me. So I'm still doing the thing I want to do anyway for getting the judgment and not, but I'm still like inside.
Sure. But this is an example where you don't fear someone else's judgment or let it change your behavior and you go ahead and do your thing.
Right. But I still feel bad.
Sure. Okay, look. Do you think that you're on Earth to never feel bad?
I mean, no.
So that means you're on Earth to sometimes feel bad.
Yes.
So couldn't this be one of the situations where it's totally reasonable and logical and healthy to feel bad?
Fair play. Yeah, it's possible.
So what do you want? Do you want me to change something that is natural and healthy?
No, I guess not. No, it's still
If my mom is displeased with my life choices, should I feel good or bad? Be doing cartwheels, or should I be like, this ain't great?
Yeah, it doesn't feel great when your mom isn't like on board with your life choices.
Right. So for me, what would you advise me? Like, would you say I should change my feelings, or they shouldn't feel that way,
I guess you're changing
or
your
would you,
feelings,
or
changing
would
your,
you tell me like, would you tell me that that's a normal, proper, valid feeling if my mom is not supporting my life choices?
yeah, okay, fair enough. It is a normal, valid feeling.
Right. Change my behavior and stop doing the thing I love, or would you tell me to do my life choices anyway?
I tell you to do your life purpose anyway, and the feeling will go away. The feeling will go away eventually.
Right. But you would know that that feeling is totally reasonable and valid and expected in such a circumstance.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
So,
I got you.
do you
So
want me to magically make you feel thrilled? Like, you want a feeling of joy when this happens? Or are you okay feeling shitty when this happens?
I'm okay feeling shitty because I want to get past judgment and I want to do what I want. But I think this feeling of when people do it and then they feel bad, this is what makes them backslide.
Yeah, because they're dopamine addicts. Like, they're feeling addicts. Like, they aren't at peace with feeling bad about something in life. They think this is the end of the world and they should have never feel bad. And how dare something cause them to feel bad? And now I'm going to adjust my behavior so I never feel bad again. And like all this kind of stuff. And it's like, no, you should feel bad, but who cares? Like, feeling bad is part of life. It's totally fine. I'd feel bad if my mom didn't support my life choices too. I'd still do them though. I'd still make my choices.
See, I like that. So you said I would feel bad if my mom didn't support my life choices, but I would do it anyway. Like you would do, regardless of how she feels about you and your life choices, you would do it anyway. And
Because I'm not
so,
responsible for her feelings.
no, wait, say that again.
I'm not responsible for her feelings or anyone else's. Feelings are an internal thing and they can be crazy wild. Like, you can have any feeling about anything at any time. So I can't be responsible for every human being's feelings. They're responsible for their feelings. And if their feelings are shit, they're welcome to change them or make peace with them or dwell in them. I don't care. Like, I'd prefer them to improve their feelings about stuff, just like you were trying to improve your feelings about your mom's judgment. But if they can't, or if they won't, or if they shouldn't, or if it's not appropriate, then don't change your feelings. I don't care. But I'm out there doing what I love and making my choices and being my authentic self. And like, other people's feelings have literally zero to do with me. It's an internal thing for them.
Right.
If everyone's walking around the planet and everyone has their own compass, right? Everyone's walking around with their own compass.
Yes.
Then what does their compass have to do with how I navigate my life?
But what if it's somebody who you've decided to share your compass with?
Why would I share something when they have their own that's more accessible and more reliable and more true for them?
Fair enough. Right. But what if when you're in a partnership and you're in a relationship and it's not your mom anymore and it's your partner?
Same thing. Kim and Kanye made different life choices. They went different directions with different compasses and now they're separated.
Fair enough.
But I assume they're both doing what's right for them. No?
Yeah. Yeah.
So?
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. Other people's compass, their emotional guidance compass, has nothing to do with me. I don't care how that radio host feels about me and feels about her show and feels about success. I know how I feel about success and myself and my show or her show.
Right.
What do her feelings have anything to do with me? She can go like think the worst of me or think she's right or think she should avoid talking about sexuality forever. And that's the healthy way to live. And it's conservative and it's aligned with her values and it's helping her show or whatever. I don't care. I don't care what she feels. She has her own compass. What does it have to do with me?
I mean,
she can feel buck wild crazy. She could wake up today and be like, that guy's the worst person on the planet. I'm going to murder him. I'm planning his initiation's house. Like, how am I supposed to change that?
but you can't.
That's some crazy feeling she has. I don't know. What does her feelings have to do with me? It's completely irrelevant. She just feels whatever she wants to feel. Maybe she changes her feelings and starts feeling better about me. That would be lovely. I would love that. But do you want me to wake up and start revolving my life around her? And how can I change her feelings? Or why can't I get her on the interview? And I should really try to get on her show again. And I don't know. I should persuade her. And like now I'm running around like people pleasing because she has bad feelings or something. But she could feel whatever bullshit she wants to feel at any time. And if I people please in this area, is she going to get me again next year? Am I going to have to be running through hoops again for some other thing?
Well, that's interesting that you brought up the people pleasing. So judgment and people pleasing go hand in hand. right? So this is people pleasers are the ones who do a lot of are a fear of judgment, right? I mean, not all of them, but most of them, you know, that's why we people please. We're scared of someone else judging us or complaining about us or hating something about us or whatever. Like there's always a fear of judgment behind the pleasing.
Yeah, because you're all addicted to feeling good. And you don't realize that you're on earth to sometimes feel bad, and that's okay. And so you empathize with someone else and put yourself in their shoes, and you're like, oh, that would make me feel bad. And I don't like feeling bad. So I'm going to adjust all my behavior so they don't feel bad. And so now every time you bump into one of the 8 billion humans on the planet, you're adjusting your behavior so they don't feel bad. And then you get resentful because other people aren't doing that for you. Like, how come they did something that made me feel bad? I would never do that to them. I didn't make them feel bad. And it's like, all of you are just caring way too much about people's feelings. Like, that's someone else's compass. Why do you give a fuck? Like, why are you acting like you should never feel bad and then you should never make someone else feel bad? Maybe the best thing is to make them feel bad. When you raise a kid, you make them feel bad all the time. But ain't nobody complaining about that. You know it's the right thing to do. They need to feel bad. They need to feel grounded. They need to feel punished. They need to feel guilty. Give them some real feelings. Like, step up, do the right thing, and let them navigate their life and handle their feelings. And like, only once in a while, when they feel bad because they got bullied, is it time for you to step in and, you know, do something nice and kind to help their feelings. But it's so rare. Like, most of the time, you're just doing your own thing, or you should be doing your own thing and letting other people deal with their own feelings. All of this obsession with making sure every human on the planet feels good is insane and unhealthy, and it will give you negative results. You never came to feel good all the time, and you're definitely not responsible for making other people feel good all the time. So stop giving a fuck if they feel bad.
And just so you guys know, he walks the walk, not just talks this talk, because in private, we've had arguments and I've said about me, like being honest and sharing, and I've hidden things because I didn't want you to be upset. And I remember saying to you, but what if you get mad? And you're like, so what if I get mad? Who cares? And like, if yeah, so you really mean what you're saying, and you really do that in private. You don't care. You don't want me to hide things to protect your feelings. You don't want me to sugarcoat things just so you'll feel better or care about your feelings more than mine. You have told me a million times, F your feelings and just do whatever I want to do and what feels best for me. And usually that's things that feel good for both of us. But in the past, I've been afraid, not always, but I've been afraid that you would be upset because I chose something else, and I was afraid of your judgment, but you never gave it to me. So thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, I just, because you said all that, and not a lot of people walk that walk, and it's a journey when you are a people pleaser and you're used to putting everyone's feelings and their judgment out of your own desires and your needs and feelings. And so I know it's a journey. And so I just wanted to give you praise for that, because it's really a wonderful thing to know. And I want to share with them that this is not just you talking like other people.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, being judgy just creates a sick individual and a sick society. Like, the healthiest thing you can do is to be your authentic self, which gives other people permission and an example of how to be their authentic self. Judgment be damned. And now everyone is out there being their authentic self, and you have a great society of human beings who are all being their authentic selves and finding their authentic niches and hooking up with their authentic tribes and gravitating away from and repelling people who are a wrong fit. But it works beautifully because no one has masks and no one is hiding and no one is people pleasing and no one is tiptoeing on eggshells around other people's feelings, and everyone is being their authentic self. And that means everyone can see everyone for who they are, and things are transparent and things are sincere, and everyone can match up with the right people for them. Like, society is just a whole bunch of magnets hooking up with each other, and it would work beautifully if everyone polarized and magnetized their own correct, healthy way, authentic way. But that system goes batshit haywire when everyone's pretending they're a north magnet when they're a south pole, and they're a south magnet when they're a north pole. And like, they're repelling and they're attracting, but then they're not really meant to be together and they can't sustain it. And it's like, why are you doing this? Why? Just be yourself. Who cares who is repulsed and who cares who is attracted? Just be yourself and let the 8 billion people fall where they may. If you meet 3 great people and that's your small circle, at least you're yourself with 3 people. If you meet 3,000 people and they all let you be your authentic self, great. Then you're your authentic self with 3,000. But stop caring if your family or your friends or your spouse or your partners or your clients are actually like supporting your authentic self. Just be your authentic self and let them go where they go, man. Let people move out of your life. The whole problem is everyone's trying to people please and keep others around. And those others would never stay if you were your authentic self. They hate your authentic self.
Yes.
So why are you trying to hang on to haters? Why don't you just be your authentic self and repel the fucking haters? Right? I didn't get that radio show interview and I'm glad. I'm happy. I don't want some prudish, like conservative, like timid, scared of public backlash, people pleasing, scared of judgment, regulation following host to chat with me all day for an hour. What do I care? Like, what a waste of my time and hers. I'd rather just be my authentic self, stand for what I stand for, believe in what I believe in. And I believe in not judging others. I believe in having healthy discussions about human sexuality. And if she doesn't resonate with that, I'm happy to repel.
I love that though.
Most people are not happy to repel.
No, they're not.
I'm happy to repel my own family. Like, I'm the black sheep. If they don't like me, they don't like my life choices, and they can't find it in their heart to have a mature discussion or get on board, don't be my family then. I didn't choose you. I wasn't born. I wasn't at birth. I wasn't asked, is this a good person for you, a good fit for you, who's going to support your authentic self as you grow? I just ended up in this fam. I can't make them a good fit.
Sure.
And I won't know if they're a good fit until I start transparently being my authentic self and making my bold, authentic choices and letting it ruffle their feathers, letting it repel them if they're not a right fit.
Yeah, it's true. It's really true. I have had people around me a lot of times in my life because I projected someone I wasn't. And when I was myself, they disappeared. I lost when you and I met and I started being myself on social media, I lost a ton of followers, but not followers like just random people that I had known for so much of my life and who were really angry with me and upset with me for being my authentic self. And afterwards I looked back on it and I wished that I had done it sooner. Because now I had spent years of fake friendship and fake things and fake conversations and fake with all these people. And at the moment I show who I really am, you're gone. Well, bye. I wish I'd shown sooner.
Yeah, because everyone, or at least most of society, has shaped you into some box that they want to put you in. They've all shaped you into something that fits their reality. Like, if you love showing off and dressing up in makeup, but you've been conservative and prudish for a while, or like modest, or whatever you call it, and they're used to your modesty, if you grow and change out of that shape, they'll be pissed off because they don't want their clay creations changing shape on them. They don't want their clay creations acting out on their own or having their own life. They want to put you in a box that fits with their reality. They definitely don't want to have a kind, honest discussion and open their mind and maybe see if they can adapt to your new shape. They are just pissed that you change shape in any way. And so everyone's pointing the guns of judgment at everyone else to keep them in line and to keep them in shape. And it's like, you better not change shape. You better not grow or evolve or do anything different than I'm used to in my reality, because that is unacceptable to me. And I'm going to use this judgment to keep you there. And I know you're afraid of judgment. So I'm really going to turn up the guilt and shame and finger pointing if I even see you hint at changing. But this is just life. This is just how society is and nature is and civilization is. And it's not up to these people to stop being judgy. It's up to you to stop giving a fuck about the guns of judgment. It's up to you to stop caring about their feelings and start following your heart. It's up to you to follow your own emotional compass and let them deal with their own emotional compass, because they're going to have crazy, batshit, insane feelings for anything and everything. You can't control that. You might peel an orange the wrong way and they'll be like, inefficient peeling. I can't believe they're so wasteful. It took her forever. What a waste of time. And it's like, are you judging me for how I peeled an orange? Like, you can't tiptoe around other people's feelings. And there's a time and a place, like I said, when a kid gets bullied and it's time to soothe their feelings, that you can step up and soothe their feelings. But you try doing that for an hour or 2 hours or 5 hours or 10 hours and they're still depressed. Even as a parent, you're like, yo, I can't fix your feelings. What are you doing, kid? Like, we got you your favorite toy. I nurtured you. I taught you how to deal with the bully. I've been pampering you. I got a job. I got a life. Like, even when it's time to help soothe someone's feelings, you still can't keep it up. You still can't sustain it. And if they want to feel shitty things, they're going to do it. And running around trying to chase that or appease that is a nightmare. And
there were like 20 clips and all that, just so you know. I was really, you're not done, but sorry, please continue.
Well, it's all good. I'm just saying that the first in practicing healthy comparison is to catch yourself when you're being judgy. And then the next step is to do whatever is authentic to you, regardless of judgment. Like, you need to be at peace with judgment from others, because judgment is just like mosquitoes in a forest. Like, if you're going to go on a nature walk and enjoy life, you better be at peace with mosquitoes. You can try and find some bug spray or mosquito net, but it'll never stop it entirely. And even if you get like an entire like HEPA filter bubble, like, what kind of way to live is that? Like, you're going to stroll through the forest in a HEPA bubble? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, if you're going to enjoy your journey here on Earth, you need to learn to be your authentic self and just deal with the mosquitoes, man. Just embrace it. Just make peace with it. It's part of it. And that judgment is pretty much always going to be around until we evolve into a superior life form. Like,
and really all it takes is practice, though. Like I mentioned earlier, you'll do it and you'll still feel it. But what choice do you have but to feel it and keep going? Like, and do it again the next day and the next day and the next day. And the more you practice, the easier it gets. And just exactly what you're saying too, like, the more you do it, the easier it will get.
Yeah, when I was young, it would have like ruined me to be rejected by that radio host. And I would have like tried to convince her and all this kind of stuff and made it a drama at the dinner table and told everyone about it. This time I was just like, whatever, good. Like, let me repel more people. Like, let me repel more people so I can find my authentic tribe. Like, I love being my authentic self, and she's clearly not a fit. Like, my attitude was totally different. And I showed her love. Like, I'm like, I wasn't mean. I was just like, yeah, okay. I hope you find better guests that are a better fit. And I totally understand, because I don't need to make a big deal about this. She's showed me that she's not a fit and she can't hang with the man, and it's all good. Like, that's fine. Like, it's a big wide world out there. I hope she finds her people.
Yeah. And Debbie immediately was super psyched. Heck yeah, I want that controversial, badass, high vibing dude. Like, she loved you so much when she was doing the interview with me. She, like, you answered a few things off camera. And she's like, bring him over here. Get him on the camera. And so this is attracting the tribe. And it happened to be, she didn't have any time for the longest. And then I just checked in with her again. And she's like, oh, I have a spot at the end of August. Well, like, and it just, everything worked exactly like you're saying. You said, I'm not going to let your judgment affect my life at all in any way. I don't care. Fine. Because my people are going to come. And sure enough, this person who adores you and thinks you are great, so much so she didn't care to talk to me anymore, because she sees the value and the awesomeness in part of our tribe. And just like you said, and so you keep standing up for who you are, screw the judgment, and then you do it anyway, and you don't care.
Yep.
I love that.
And so, well, thank you. I love it too. And so you want to practice this on as many topics as you can. And so if you go throughout your day and you find yourself talking about Trump or politics, I guarantee you some judginess is going to come up, like, for 99% of people.
Yes.
Then the next day, if you're talking about sexuality or age gap relationships or fetishes or LGBTQ or something, like, for 99% of people, some kind of judgment is going to come up. Mm-hmm. And so there's more chance to practice. Or you'll see one of your influencers, your heroes, get hated on or something. Elon Musk get hated on, or Jordan Peterson get hated on, or maybe you're a Trudeau fan and you don't like the hate he's getting. Like, the point is, the judginess is going to come up. You can't. It would be great if you were just like, oh, that's all good. Everyone's entitled to their opinions and their views, and I'm happy to have a civil discussion about this, and I have no triggered feelings at all. Like, that'd be great if you were like that on every topic. But the topics I just named, you're probably not. Like, I can have a discussion about those topics because I've already sat with them. I've already, like, worked them through. I've already thought deeply about life and the universe and everything and where things fit in and humanity and civilization and history and like how these things affect the world, right? Like if we're talking about human sexuality, I've already looked into like ancient Egypt and ancient Greece and like how they ran their civilization, or ancient Rome. And I've looked at Victorian era when there was like tons of prudes and repression and you couldn't show your ankles. And then I've looked at today's society, and it's like I have a healthy perspective that helps me be open-minded and gentle and non-judgy about this topic. But most people haven't done all that work. Most people have knee-jerk reactions inside them about human sexuality, and it'll show. But I could sit down and have a discussion with a nun and a porn star at the same time about this topic without yelling at any of them, without getting triggered about any of it. Like, it's all good, you know? I'm just saying, you want to practice this on as many topics as possible. And if you're like most people, you got a lot of work to do.
Well, we all strive to be as unbothered as you are and to be as judgment-free and open-minded as you are. That test I took today told me I was like 80-something% open-minded. I said, yeah, I am.
I love it.
Me too. This is amazing. You are so beyond helpful and so judgment-free and loving and kind. It's just amazing. I really appreciate you. Thank you for answering all my questions. And now I will judge you if you don't go and download our book, Eyes Wide Open, Volume 1. It is the world's first self-help coffee table book, and we're giving away free PDF copies for you. So if you don't want me to judge you, then I'm going to judge you. Did you get it? Did you get it? Judgy, judgy, judge. I'm kidding. I love you. EyesWideOpenFree.com. The link is in the description too. And so you can learn to be less judgmental and have more love and more eyes open. Okay.
Yay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, you are the most incredible human being. I'm completely obsessed and in love. But outside of that, you really are a wonderful role model. I say to you all the time, and I wish that I had known you when my children were little, but I'm so grateful to know you now. So I just have one more question. Do you have any final thoughts that you would like to share with our wonderful and amazing audience?
Yes. Our lives as human beings, although they look complicated and messy and complex, are actually quite simple, because every single one of us is really just a series of choices, thousands and thousands and trillions of choices. And every one of those choices just comes down to love or fear. When you doom scroll for a minute, it could be done out of love. And when you doom scroll for a minute and 5 seconds, maybe those 5 seconds were fear-based. You can send that WhatsApp message out of love, or you can send that WhatsApp message out of fear. There is no neutral. You are always choosing love or fear. And so this is the only comparison that really ever needs to be made. Use your discernment to discern whether you're choosing out of love or fear and behave accordingly. And every time you choose fear, you've engaged in some form of judgment, an unhealthy comparison. And every time you choose love, you have used wise discernment and made a healthy comparison. And I know it sounds a bit philosophical or overly simplistic, but this really is the juice and the meat of life. And when you get the hang of it, you start to navigate life really well, constantly choosing love over and over. Love of self, love of others, love of the situation, love of the topic. And as you do this, it's a game changer. And all your heroes, all the people you look up to, are the ones who have made more loving choices overall. And all the people who are unappealing to you and you don't want to be like, and they just seem like a drain, are the ones who are choosing fear more often. It's that simple. So discernment over judgment, love over fear. You got this. I believe in you.
And that's why our book and this podcast are called Eyes Wide Open. After today, you will know how to navigate judgment like a boss, like Jay. And so now you can go to this video right here. It's called Fear and Love and Sucking at Life to help you make better decisions and judge people less so you can be happier, and to help you keep your eyes wide open.
Keep rising.